Hey, what's up, guys? It's your host here, SeattleBeats, and welcome again to the weekly 7 movie night series. This week, it's episode 4. Every week in 7 days, I watch 7 movies. Of those 7 movies, I pick my very favorite movie of that week and recommend it to you for movie night. Although I'm the one giving you recommendations, I also take recommendations from you, the community, for this series. So if you have a recommendation for me, be sure to leave it in the comments section. Whether you're on Xbox Live or on YouTube, I will see them. I can't do every movie recommendation, but I try to get to them if I can. So now that you know how it works, let's get into this week's picks. Coming in last place, we have Trick or Treat. Now this might get kind of awkward for a second because my friend's girlfriend recommended it to me and said it was one of her favorite Halloween movies. So no offense to you, but no matter who recommends a movie to me, I'll say whether I like it or not. And when watching this movie, I could tell it was supposed to be sort of a spoof of horror movies. But watching through this movie, I felt like I was living in a horror movie. I couldn't take it. It was like nails on a chalkboard for me. I don't know, it just bugged the crap out of me. But I'm one of those people, if I watch a movie, I have to sit through it and finish it because I can't review something and give it a bad rating if I haven't seen the whole movie. But I watched it, and it being a horror spoof and me not being able to be sure shows that it wasn't made that well, and I could never recommend this movie to anyone, but that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean it's right, but there's a lot better things you could watch for 2 hours of time. I'm just saying. In 6th place, we have Eight-Legged Freaks. Now, I gave this movie a 6 out of 10 because there's not a lot of good spider horror type movies out there. I'm sure you could find some on the Sci-Fi Channel, all that like Mega Piranha versus Giant Spider crap, all those terrible sci-fi movies. But, I mean, when you compare this movie to that, this movie's above them and deserves above average rating, which anything above 5 is above average. So I think a 6 out of 10 suits this movie right, and this is also considered sort of a horror spoof. Horror spoofs just don't work that well, do they? Like, there's a few of them, like, Scary Movie 1, 2, 3, and even 4 were pretty good, but, I don't know, a lot of them don't work, but I like some of the actors in this, and Scarlett Johansson, I love Scarlett Johansson, is in this film. But yeah, this week wasn't too fun, there wasn't a lot of good movies this week, I'm just saying. Ugh. Terrible. Terrible. And, sorry about those disturbing sound effects there at the end. I left them in because it was a natural response of disgust. Don't read into it, it sounded a little dirty there for a second. It wasn't, trust me, sounds of disgust. Quit being pervs. Alright, but anyways, into another movie that didn't end up seeming too enjoyable for me this week. We have Young Frankenstein, and before you get mad, I love Gene Wilder, and I did remember enjoying this movie when I was younger. But through the years, the way things have aged, the way movies are today, this is one of those movies that did not age well. I gave it a higher rating than I maybe even would have given it because it led to a funny genre of films. The whole spoof thing made it real popular. But, I don't know, it's just one of those movies that didn't age well. Some do, like The Shining aged really well. This isn't one of those movies. But don't get me wrong, I love a lot of Gene Wilder's films. I just don't think you guys would like it in the present day it is of today. So, yeah. In 4th place, we have The Rebound. And guess what, guys? A movie that I watched this week that I finally enjoyed. Don't ever watch the other 3 crap I just talked about. Now, this movie's actually alright. It's got a few cringeworthy jokes that didn't hit right, so that's why I dropped it a few points. But other than that, it's a good movie. It's got a great ending. It starts off a little slow, but if you're into the romantic comedy genre, you will like this. Also, if you're a fan of Catherine Zeta-Jones, she kind of suits that genre perfectly, at least in my opinion. So, into that, it's kind of one of those movies that you have to like the genre to like the movie, because it has a lot of the stereotypes of what a romantic comedy is. So if you don't like that, you wouldn't like it. But overall, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it, and I would probably watch it again in the future. In 3rd place with the bronze medal, the first placing of this week, we have Not Another Teenage Movie. This is an example of a spoof that actually works. Now, it's got a few awkward parts, and it is not rated highly by the community, so maybe I'm in my own world on this movie. But I don't go by the community's rating, I go by what I think about it. And I don't know, it's a movie that's funny, but you need to go into it knowing that it's kind of a slapstick, dirty type humor. It's definitely not a family-friendly movie, but it does a really good job making fun of how extreme those overly dramatic teen movies were from the 80s and 90s, and kind of making light of that over-dramatic sense by completely over-dramatifying, or is that even a word, over-dramatifying? Well, whatever. Making fun of what is such a common myth about what teenagers are like. I don't know. I think it did a good job. To each his own. In second place, we have the actually first amazing movie of the week, which is The Shallows, 9.0 out of 10 from me. This is a movie I went into not expecting a lot because when I read some reviews, I heard that it kind of had some slower pacing, but it did have good reviews, so it made me interested in watching it. I've always found shark movies to be kind of interesting, as long as they're not those dumb sci-fi shark movies like Mega Shark versus Four-Headed Shark, crap like that. But I don't know, I watched this. The slow pacing doesn't matter. I think it has perfect pacing. It's really enjoyable, keeps you on the edge of your seat, and I honestly think it's one of the best shark movies I've seen. I remember one called Deep Blue Sea I really liked too, but Blake Lively is not only beautiful, she is an amazing actor. I'm definitely going to look into her work in the future, that's for sure. And in first place, and my movie night pick of the week, it might be a movie you've seen before, but if not, you need to watch it. The Great Gatsby. Now, I didn't watch the classic one yet, and I need to get into it and watch that. But this is the remake with Leonardo DiCaprio. I've heard from a few people that read the book that they didn't like it quite as much as I did, and that's why I think the overall rating online is like a 7.7 out of 10. But me going into it, watching it purely for the movie it was, me being a person that actually enjoys sort of the over-romanticized genre, I think this movie is great. As you see, a 9.8 out of 10. I was kind of surprised I rated it that highly, but I looked at other movie ratings I had, and I did enjoy them over some that I gave like 9.75s. So this deserves a 9.8. It's one of Leonardo DiCaprio's best movies, in my opinion. And if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. If you have seen it, then watch The Shallows this week. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Weekly 7 this week, whether you end up watching The Shallows or The Great Gatsby this weekend or later on in the week. And before I let you go, my next Weekly 7 video is going to be Harry Potter edition. I'm going to be rating my least favorite Harry Potter to my number one favorite Harry Potter. I know that might cause a little bit of nerd rage, but I think overall it'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys look forward to that, and if you enjoyed the video this week, please throw a like and share on it. Alright, see you guys next time.